Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Josie Childs and this is the AppExchange Mega Session. Thank you so much for joining us today and for kicking off the AppExchange experience at Dreamforce here at the AppExchange Mega Session. I'm going to be joined this afternoon with my colleagues Jim Sinai and Heather Conklin, and we're part of the team that's behind the AppExchange. But before we get started, just a quick safe harbor. So as you know, Salesforce is a publicly traded company, so please make your buying decisions based on what's currently available in the marketplace. So as I said, I'm Josie Childs and I'm a product marketing manager on the AppExchange. And every day, Heather, Jim, and I have the opportunity to talk to our customers and to learn about all of their pain points and how they're using the AppExchange. And as we were having these conversations, we came to find a somewhat alarming trend. And so we decided to put together this message for you.
I spent years suffering day after day, and I had no idea that it was what was slowing me down.
I didn't know I was suffering from ALT, but apparently it was pretty obvious.
For me, it started out small, but then I guess it got a little out of hand.
I spent all day focusing so much on closing the deal. I never stopped to think how something like ALT might be hurting me, and maybe other people around me.
I'd say mine started around 2006.
ALT affected everything I touched.
I think if I can cut back on my ALT, I will be a totally new person. And more importantly, I'll have space in my life for things that really matter.
The AppExchange is the world's leading business app marketplace. It's an ecosystem of proven business apps extending Salesforce into every department and industry. Users can find, review, install, and customize apps in minutes. Upgrades are automatic, and each user gets a single secure cloud identity.
In our app marketplace, you'll find modern applications that can help you with nearly every function in your daily life. It's easy to use, it's fast, affordable, and it's curing ALT.
Thanks to the AppExchange, I'm back on the road again, and I feel like a regular Jack Kerouac.
Thanks to the AppExchange, I've washed away my worries and feel light on my feet.
We know AppExchange works. If we can help reduce ALT, imagine the possibilities.
And it comes from clouds.
All right, well, hopefully not too many of those analog lifestyle tendencies hit too close to home. But as we were putting this together and as we were having conversations with our customers and also with our colleagues, we heard a lot of confessions of people who have been suffering from ALT. In fact, one of our colleagues even confessed to once having hired a summer intern whose entire summer job it was to dedupe an org. So not exactly a dream job, but we realized that these tendencies are really everywhere. And so we decided to ask you if you would please join us today in a quick pledge. And we're calling it the AppExchange Pledge. So if everyone could please stand up. And you can repeat after me. I promise to stop manual deduping, using cut and paste to integrate data, faxing documents, and building reports and dashboards from scratch. I promise to be more digital, and I will always remember the AppExchange is here to help. Thank you for humoring me. And the reason why we feel so confident asking you to take that pledge and that we know that we can cure ALT is because we have over 2,800 apps on the AppExchange that solve everything from LinkedIn connectors to geo-analytics, e-signature. And really, when you think about the AppExchange, you should think about it as a place that you can go for all of the solutions that you're looking for. One of the reasons why I love my job is that I have the opportunity to talk to customers all the time about how they're using the AppExchange and how it's really helping them bring everything together in one place. So when we talk about the AppExchange, what are we really talking about? Well, just as Apple has the App Store and Google has Google Play, Salesforce has the AppExchange. And the AppExchange is the #1 business app marketplace. It has over 2,800 apps that are customized for Salesforce. These apps are trusted and secure, and they're peer-reviewed. We have over 50,000 peer reviews on the AppExchange. And it's also really important to note that almost 40% of the apps on the AppExchange are free, so it doesn't cost a lot to get started with us. So when we really think about the ecosystem that makes up the AppExchange, we really started with sales and service, and that's all about extending your core CRM. But where the AppExchange really hit an inflection point and things really changed for us is when we started seeing apps coming for all different departments. So for example, Financial Force and Finance, and Job Science and Lumes and HR, Visible and Marketing. And these are really bringing everything together in one place. Some of my favorite customer conversations are when I talk to customers and they say, you know, we're running everything on Salesforce and the AppExchange, and when we go tell our peers, no one believes us. But it's true, you really can bring everything together on the AppExchange. And another interesting place that we're seeing some change is in the industry world. So these are just some of the verticals that we have sessions for at Dreamforce this year, AppExchange sessions at Dreamforce this year. How many people are here in the public sector? Well, we have over 100 apps for you on the AppExchange. In Financial Force, we have an app called Encino, which actually was started in a bank, and it was doing so well that they decided to spin it off and offer it on the AppExchange. And in education and nonprofits, there's lots of apps there. I used to work in nonprofits, so I know that that's really ground zero for ALT behavior. But we have lots of apps for you, and we actually, a lot of our apps are priced specially for nonprofits, so you should check that out. But even beyond those industries, we really have apps for every industry. And Velocity is a partner here that's really playing a lot in this space, and they're using a lot of their expertise to build what they're calling industry cloud apps. And these are apps that are really extending into places like telecommunications, making a big difference there. But even when we think about things that you wouldn't see at a normal tech conference, so something like museums and galleries or beverage distributors, they're represented here at Dreamforce and they're represented on the AppExchange. So if you're looking at that list and you're not seeing your company or your industry, you should go check out the AppExchange, and if it's not there, then I think we found a new business opportunity for you, and you should go check out our partner zone in Park Central. So no matter what industry you're in or what department you're in, mobility is always really important. And so 2 years ago, we introduced the Salesforce One mobile app, and that was really about taking the platform and bringing it to you on your phone. And a lot of our partners work straight out of the box, but we have over 300 partners who have built special apps that plug right into your Salesforce One mobile app, so extending all of that power right to your phone. So when we think back on our year on the AppExchange and all of the exciting things that have happened for us, one of the most exciting things is that we hit our 3 millionth install. And part of why that was so exciting was not just the sheer number of people that are using apps and number of companies that are using apps, but also when we did the math, we realized that every 30 seconds, a new app is installed from the AppExchange. So that means that even as we're sitting here today, that number is continuing to grow. But it's also really important because it just shows what good company you're in and how many companies out there are using the AppExchange. So if you've installed an app from the AppExchange, you're joining a wonderful group of people. Over 64% of Forbes' most innovative companies are using apps from the AppExchange. Over 85% of the Fortune 100. And most exciting for me, 79% of Salesforce customers. So there's all kinds of people out there who are really running their whole business on the AppExchange. And so I'd like to invite one of our customers up here today to talk a little bit about how they're using Salesforce and the AppExchange. Shutterstock is a leading technology company, and they're making visual communications easy for business and media organizations. But the reason why we wanted to invite them up here today is that they're using a growing ecosystem of over 30 apps to run their business. And all while really getting an amazing ROI, not only gaining business agility and saving time, but really delivering and redefining what it means to deliver best-in-class customer service. And so we've invited Alex to come up and talk to us a little bit about Shutterstock. Alex, if you can come up. And one of the reasons why I love talking to Alex is every time I call Alex, he's installed a new app, he has a new story to tell, and a new department has been completely changed by using the AppExchange. So Alex, if you could just start by telling us a little bit about where you and Shutterstock started with the AppExchange.
Yeah, sure. So we started a lot of what Josie said before with like free apps. We started with about 40 users. customer service and sales, and we wanted to ensure that we could quickly gain adoption. So we installed a graphics pack so that if one of our salesperson, if they made a sale, you could see a little smiley face or a dollar sign or something like that. We also installed some Salesforce for Facebook and Twitter, so if you tweet at support at Shutterstock, you can get that automatically in our org. So going free was kind of what we wanted to do to get adoption, and from there on, we moved a little bit more to the paid ground.
Yeah, so then where did you go after the free apps?
We wanted to make sure that we were compliant and we could automate some things for our salespeople and our customer service teams that could really help them. So we went to DocuSign pretty much immediately thereafter so that they could countersign documents and contracts. People are, were faxing and shoving tons of paper into a machine. You don't want to do that. We want to be able to quickly push a button and they can just send it out.
That sounds like ALT.
Very much. We also have one correspondent to send out quotes really quick. People are on the phone, they need to be able to send out a quote in any number of different languages, 20 languages actually, very, very quickly. While we were doing that, we wanted to also measure their success. So we have dashboards from level 11 that constantly show exactly what's happening, who's opening the most opportunities, who's closing the most cases. You can just see this in real time in wallboards all throughout our company.
That's great. And then after sales, where did you go?
We started moving a little bit more onto the customer service side because that was a pretty big focus for us. And customer service, we receive thousands of cases on a weekly basis, and we do it in 20 different languages. So in order to automatically route this, we turned to distribution engine, which we saw immediate effects on our org. So we were in the double-digit numbers on email response time that went down 9+ hours within a week after testing.
Wow.
We also wanted to keep things clean because we started building more and more. So we turned to another free app called Field Trip. So it just automatically can scan, say, your account object, and it can let you know what's the most used fields in your org. So if you have to build one and it's not a good field that no one's using, you can see that.
And that one is an admin favorite that we hear about all the time.
I love it. I can't live without it.
And then moving beyond that, so what's next for Shutterstock in your ecosystem?
So now that we've kind of started following more of the paid route and really kind of cleaning up our apps, we've gone to some of our larger units or take care of, we're a public company, we want to make sure that we're also compliant. So we've installed Exactly in Aptus. Exactly does our commission calculations. So we can put in a pretty complex set of rules within Exactly, and they can take out all the sales and then process them automatically, and our salespeople can know in real time what they're doing, both on a mobile perspective and within Salesforce. And then Aptus. So we wanted to send more advanced contracts, and if someone was sending some sort of advanced contract and they wanted to include some language here and there, Aptus generates that contract and then connects to DocuSign beyond that. And we also just wanted to keep it clean, so Action Grid. It was Excel for Salesforce. One of the simplest things we can do, and it makes everyone's lives a lot easier.
That's great. That's a really impressive ecosystem. So if you had to sort of sum up what kind of results you've seen from putting all of these apps together, what would be your core results?
Well, the salespeople aren't shoving a bunch of documents into a fax machine. They're just automating everything. So that was a big one. But the response time to our customers have been seeing immediate response times just on submitting cases and support alone, social support. It was a great benefit to all who work within our instance, but our customers are the ones who really saw the benefit.
Great. Thank you, Alex. We really appreciate you sharing
Thanks.
how you've been using all of these different apps. So now I'd like to invite up Jim Sinai, and Jim is going to give us a quick demo of the AppExchange, show us how easy it is to use, and give us a sneak peek on some things that are coming our way.
Thanks so much, Josie. So as we pull up the demo, how many people here have not installed anything from AppExchange? Great. This first part of the demo is for you. So this is appexchange.com, and the first thing I'll call out is that we've given AppExchange a brand new user interface. So this summer we released our Lightning components, and we'll explain what those are in a minute. And what you can see with the components is that we've changed the whole UI. So we have a marketplace for apps, and then if we go over to the components page, we have a whole marketplace for components, which power the new Lightning design system. And then, of course, we know that our customers sometimes need more than apps, and so we've made it easy to find the people to help you, which are the consultants and the integrators. So if we go back to AppExchange and just imagine that we're back at AppExchange here, basically the one, the most used feature on AppExchange is search. And so we're going to search for an adoption dashboard. This is probably the app that we tell everyone to install, because if you rolled out Salesforce, you're a stakeholder in Salesforce, and one thing that you should care about is how well people are using it, how much adoption are you getting. And this is a free dashboard. It's actually built by Salesforce, and you can see a quick overview of the app, a little description, some screenshots, but you can also click the details, which are super important. It'll show you if how many objects it uses, what sort of package it is, what additions it works with, all that key information. And then, of course, what we think is the most important thing is reviews, which is, how we shop today. We go to Yelp, we go to Facebook, we ask our friends, and so buying an enterprise application should be the same. Go into the success community, and those reviews from the success community are right here talking about the app. So if we want to install it, it's just a simple click, and we can install that into our org. It's going to ask us quickly whether we want to install it into production or sandbox. If you guys don't have a sandbox, I highly recommend sandboxes. They're a great way to build and configure and do things without interrupting your production users. You click configure, confirm and install, and it's as simple as that. You've installed it into the org. And so you can see this is an org with all these packages, and of course that first package that we installed is right at the top. So let's go ahead and take a look at that as a dashboard. And what you can see is this dashboard, and it's got the 3x3, and it's got everything you need to sort of track who's using This is an opportunity dashboard, but we can have different types of adoption dashboards. And so if you're going to build a custom dashboard, this is the best way to start. Install a dashboard and then tweak it rather than start from scratch. Now, this is the old UI. This is what got Salesforce to where we are today. And right now, we're going to step forward into the future and look at Lightning and how Lightning is transforming how we use Salesforce. And so with the new Lightning UI, that same sales and marketing dashboard comes forward and looks totally different. So not only is it more user-friendly and more interactive, but it's also easier for end users to customize. If you want to have 2 columns instead of 3 on a row, you can do that. If you want to have 4 columns or 5 columns, you can actually do that. And so you can totally configure these dashboards. And if you're going to do it, why start from scratch? You should start with a package from AppExchange, and there's a ton of free dashboards there. Hit save, and then you're done. So that's a basic free app. But what about an app that maybe is going to help you drive your business forward? And one of the things that everyone in sort of the own Salesforce thinks about is project management. So we wanted to highlight an app called TaskRay by Bracket Labs. Now TaskRay is working hard to help make the lives of any team around a project easier. And they've taken the principle of Kanban boards and brought this to project management. So you can see all the tasks by different statuses, what's holding, what's started, and what's finished, and little faces of who's the exact user. And dragging between the two is super easy. Now you can also switch to different views, and they've built a deadline view. And you can see now we're looking at everything by deadline. And then you can also see a view about their whole, basically all the different projects and timelines. So here's a project, Dreamforce, and here's all the different stuff that we had to do to get ready for Dreamforce. So this is a great example of apps that are taking advantage of the new Lightning UI. It looks beautiful, it looks modern. And another one is Map Anything. Now, everything that we do theoretically involves a map. Whether it's having a list of accounts and you want to see where those accounts are, whether it's supporting a group of field operations, if you're Alex and you're thinking about how you support photographers out in the world, having things laid out on maps is a super powerful way to think about it. And with with Map Anything, you can take any data object and overlay it over a map. And so here we can see a bunch of accounts, and what we actually want to do here is build a little route for our sales rep or our delivery driver. And so just by clicking and adding a few of these accounts to a route, we can build a route for that sales rep. So super powerful, taking advantage of something that we all want to use. We want to use the world like we use Google, and we can do that now with Salesforce. And now you can have that view. And if you want to save it and share it out, you built a route for this rep or this driver and you want to share it out, you can save it and put it right into their calendar or into Chatter or wherever else you would want to put that. So just a real quick example of how you can navigate the new AppExchange and how you can take a look at some of the free apps and some of the paid apps. And I think we're going to pass it back to you. Or actually, sorry, I'm going to pass it to Heather. So Heather is the Director of Product Management, and she's in charge of all the product that gets built on AppExchange. So welcome, Heather.
Thanks, Rick. All right, hi everyone. As Jim said, I'm the product manager for the AppExchange, and I am really excited to be up here today, and I get the pleasure of telling you about what's next. So I'm going to set the stage a little bit first, and then we'll go into a really cool demo that I think you're all going to love. So first, I'm sure this is not news to anyone in this room, but every business has a unique set of challenges. So every one of you faces something different on a day-to-day basis at your company, and that can be because of a lot of different factors. So one can be about your organizational structure. You know, every company is set up a little bit differently. You also have different business processes, and they can be really complex. And finally, you have a lot of different technologies that you're trying to bring together into one way. And so, sorry, there we go. What is your answer to that today? So really the only option that you have today is to develop your own custom solution. And maybe some of you are lucky enough to have an in-house development team that you can have build things for you, and that's great, but others may have to hire someone externally. And regardless of whether it's internal or external, building custom solutions is very time consuming. We have to go through and really figure out, what are the problems that we have to solve here. And it's also expensive, whether it's from money or time, building custom is always expensive. And it can be very complex. So just as your business problems are very complex to solve, the answers to them and the technology that you need to create to solve them can also be extremely complex. So now we want to ask you, what if you could use building blocks instead of building things from scratch every time? And our answer to that is Lightning. And you're going to hear a ton about Lightning this week if you haven't heard about it already. It's definitely a big part of Mark's keynote tomorrow if you want to go check that out. And again, lots and lots of sessions about Lightning. And Jim already gave you a little bit of a sneak preview, but I really want to talk about the platform side of Lightning. So he showed the new Lightning experience, and now let's talk about the platform behind it. So Lightning is really made up of these three things. You have components, which are the building blocks. And the analogy that we like to use is think of Legos. So each component is like a Lego, and you can put them together to build lots of different things in many different ways. And then you have the Lightning App Builder. And this is the tool that's going to let anyone build and customize apps and pages. So you no longer have to be a developer writing code in order to create a custom app or page. Anyone can do this now with point-and-click development. And finally, you have the Lightning Exchange on the AppExchange. And so this is our new store for components that Jim gave you a quick view of earlier, but we're going to dive into more in just a second. So let's go through each one of these in a little more detail. First, again, is components. So again, these are the building blocks for all the pages. And if anyone in here uses Salesforce 1, I know Josie talked about it before, Salesforce 1 is actually all built based on Lightning components. Our new Lightning experience, the new UI that Jim was showing, is also all built on Lightning components. And so these are really the future of Salesforce UI development. Again, you can put things together in many, many different ways to create all kinds of different apps and pages. And you can do this all with clicks. So you can totally develop your own custom components, but we're going to talk about how you can get them from the AppExchange and actually just move them around and develop very quickly with point and click. And you can easily build very sophisticated apps. So the components are all very dynamic, and they're responsive to many different UIs. So you don't have to think about all that. It comes built into the Lightning components. Then you have the Lightning App Builder. And again, this is the tool that's going to let anyone build and customize apps and pages. And if you look at this screenshot here, we're going to do a demo of this in a second, but on the left side there that you're looking at, that's your list of components that you have. So you have all different kinds of components, whether they come from Salesforce or the AppExchange or things that you develop internally at your company. And you can take those and actually drag and drop them right onto that center pane in order to create your own apps and pages. And all of these can be developed for any device. So it's not just about mobile apps, it's about desktop and tablet apps as well. You can move between the different form factors in the Lightning App Builder to see what your app would look like in each of the different forms very, very quickly. And finally, we have the Lightning Exchange. So this is the new store on the AppExchange built specifically for Lightning components. So we think Lightning components are going to be a really big deal. As I said, Salesforce One and the new Lightning experience are all built on Lightning components today, and this is just going to continue to grow and grow. We'll do a demo and you can see how exciting this is going to be. I think that we'll have tons and tons of components by this time next year. But we already have about 50 from our partners and independent developers. But here on the AppExchange now, you can go to that component store that Jim showed, and you can access a full library of components. You can get them because they're pre-built. It makes you, go to market much quicker. You can build and scale much faster than ever before. And you can deliver faster than ever before as well. So the best way to show you all this is to go into a demo. Let's go over to the AppExchange and actually see what we have here. All right, great. So here you have the component store on the AppExchange. And when we're scrolling down, you can see all different types of components here. Some examples are things like signature capture. There's a lot of data visualization, things around time and calculators, all kinds of things to help you get started with components. And Jim showed a little bit of the TaskRay app in his demo, and I want to show you how TaskRay has actually developed Lightning components to put the functionality of their app directly into the pages that you use most in Salesforce. So let's cut over to the org, and here, if we look at an account and go into Burlington Textiles, here you see a standard account layout in the new UI. But let's say I use TaskRay all the time, and I want to put a component right onto that account page so that I don't need to leave the account page in order to use my favorite TaskRay functionality. So if I scroll down, and actually, can we go back up to the top real quick? I just want to make sure everybody sees some of the things here. Hopefully the screen cooperates with me. First at the top, you can see standard components. So these are things that come from Salesforce to you. So anyone who uses the Lightning App Builder, you'll already have these components installed in your org. And then if we scroll a little further down, you can see custom components. So in this case, these are the ones that we've developed internally. And then further down, you see the custom managed components, and these are the ones that are coming from that new Lightning Exchange on the AppExchange. And so if I scroll down, you can see a bunch of TaskRay components here. Because what I installed from the AppExchange, it was actually a bundle of components. So I get a few different components when I install their package. And I'm going to use the to-do one. So I am guilty of ALT as well. I keep my to-do lists on paper, and I am trying to stop that. So I'm going to use the TaskRay component here to have a to-do list right on my account screen. And all I have to do is save this, and then if we go back over to the account screen, you'll see that new component showing up right there at the top of my account screen. And so within just a matter of seconds, we just customized the account page in a way that you were never able to do before. So to do that today, you would have had to have developers customize a section of the page for you, and now you saw anyone can do that. You can go and get a component. Many of them are free. I think almost all of them are free right now. Go and get those, and you can put them right onto your Salesforce pages. So this really gives power to our customers that we've never given them before. That ability to customize is going to be huge for everyone. All right, and as great as that is, I also want to show you how you could build a custom app using that same Lightning App Builder technology that we just showed. So if I go into Setup and go to the Lightning App Builder, and I can say here that I want to create a new app. And here, when I'm setting up my new app, I get to choose a template. And because I want to make sure I have as much real estate as possible, I'm going to go with the 3-column layout, which is fully responsive to all the different form factors. And so if I say next, I'm going to give my app a name. And since we're here at Dreamforce and we're really thinking a lot about events right now, I want to create an event management app to allow people to plan and create better events going forward as well. So here I go into the Lightning App Builder, and first thing I want to do is switch over to the tablet. I'm going to design this for tablet first, and then we'll go back to the phone at the end. So here I am in the landscape of the Lightning App Builder. And again, I have my components there on the left. The pane in the middle is where I get to put all of these components together to create an app. And on the right side, I'll show you, this is a properties bar where you can actually customize some of the things about the component. And we'll touch on that in just a minute. So let's start with a filtered list. So, again, this is an events planning app. I want to have a list of all of my upcoming events here so that people know what other events are being planned. And so there we go. We have our list here, and over on the right side, you can see in our properties panel, I was able to choose which object I want to show and give it the filter. So next up, let's put something visual. How about a report chart? So I've created this report. This report tells me about the different venues that I can use for planning events and the capacity that each one can hold. So that's a report that I had already built, and so I just get to drag it right in here and show it right here on the page. Next up, let's do another visual one. This one's about approved vendors. So I can create, this is a custom one that we've created. I have images of the different vendors and the contact information for them as well. So I can put that right onto the page so that people can easily find who's approved to use. Next up, let's use one of our partner components. And so this one is built by a partner called Terra Sky, and it's a calendar app. And so, or a calendar component rather, sorry. So, what would an event planning app be without a calendar? So here, again, I can use that right properties pane to give my calendar a title. I can change the font size, the font color, and even the background color of my calendar. And now I want to give people our reservation number so that they know who to call when they want to make reservations. So if I put that right at the top, I can put this here and give it the title of my reservation hotline, give them the phone number that they need to use, and now, especially when they're on a mobile phone, they'll be able to click this and it will just open up their phone on their mobile phone and they can dial the reservation hotline. And now let's also add this meetup list. So I want to make sure that when we're planning events, we don't conflict with other things that are going on in our area. So I'm going to add this meetups component to make sure that, again, we know what else is going on. And so there we go. Now I have all of the components that I want to use for my app, and I can easily drag and drop them to reorder them as well. So again, it's all very quick point and click development. And now let's switch over to the phone view so you can see what that would look like there. And so just like that, the components fall together into the new phone view, and I can see what they would look like on the phone. So let's take this one last step here, and we're going to activate it in Salesforce One, and I'll show you how fast and easy that is as well. So I can just hit save and then activate, and now I have, again, the name for my app that I already gave it. I can choose an icon to demonstrate what that app is to users, and I can drag and drop it in any place I want in the Salesforce One navigation. So I'm going to put it right there at the top. And then if I hit activate, it will immediately become available to everyone who's using Salesforce One. And I think we're going to try to switch over here and show you Salesforce One so you can see. But again, just in a matter of minutes there, we were able to create an app using components that were all pre-built and available from the AppExchange or from Salesforce. And now if I refresh this, you can see right there, my marketing events app is in the Salesforce One navigation. And now again, it's available to everyone to use. So hopefully that gives you a great idea of what you can do with components and the new Lightning Exchange.